Hello, and welcome to what's going to be a very special edition of Getting to Know Mr. Smith. It's been a long time. It is summer though, which means hopefully I can update you guys and connect with you guys and hopefully give you guys some more ideas for things to do for your summer. But before we get on, I want to say thank you to everyone this year at Porter Elementary. It was a crazy year. You made it amazing. Thank you so much. But now to the video. What is the point of this video? Mr. Smith is doing a little bit of a trip down memory lane. It's kind of a chance for Mr. Smith to look back at his teaching experience over these last 4 or 5 years and really just kind of see how much I've grown, see how much better I've gotten. Hopefully be a little bit more optimistic for the future. Let's go and take a look at where it all began. I've always wanted to be a teacher since I was 7 years old, so it's kind of just a matter of how I was going to do it. After I graduated from UC Riverside, I came back to San Diego looking to be a part of a teaching credential program to be a teacher, right? Wound up here. It's no longer San Diego Christian College, but it used to be. Now they're in fancy Santee. This building is actually where I had my classes. Classes on how to teach reading, how children learn and how to adapt and think about it, math skills, all of that. It's over here. Whew. Man, got me ready for student teaching. Check out where I went for that. And here we are at the site of my very first teaching experience. Shoutout. Pretty crazy to think of, but yes, right out of my teaching credential program, they put me in student teaching is what it's called. I don't know if it's still called that, but there's a second, third grade classroom in there. For 8 weeks, it was my class for the first time. It was awesome, it was amazing. Came back to the school and substituted many times. Applied to a few jobs. Who knows? Maybe even I have a future out here in Santee. But it was a great experience here. Sure has grown a lot too, which is amazing to see. And right after this, I went to, you guessed it, Lakeside Farms. Check it out. And after Cheddar Ferret, I wound up in a lot of places where it all began, in a lot of ways. Lakeside Farms Elementary. I went here for kindergarten and first grade myself. And you see this building right here is the auditorium, and if you look closely, see those holes right there. At the end, I'm going to put in a picture. There's actually a picture of me and my mom in front of this exact structure right there. Pretty small world, but came back here in this auditorium. Right underneath it is a basement. And I taught 5th grade in there. The whole 5th grade team teaches underneath there. Really cool experience. That was my second student teaching session. It was amazing. Something truly awesome. I'm really glad I had it. But I couldn't stay here, so I ended up moving on. Crazy to think of. Crazy indeed. But with that came new opportunities. Yee! Including Richmond. Whew. After student teaching, it was tough because I wanted to stay in San Diego, but there weren't any real jobs, so I was getting a lot of substitute jobs and couldn't afford rent. So I decided to just apply everywhere in California. And that wound me up in Richmond. And I jumped in head first, didn't really know anything about it, accepted the job before I even planned on how I was going to live there. But I made it work for 2 years. Lived in a house with family of 4. Shoutouts to Freeze and the gang. But it was tough. Had to adapt, change to environment. Weren't used to seeing people who look like me. But it also helped me adapt to situations that I wasn't used to. Feeling uncomfortable, feeling like an outcast was something I needed to do as well. But family was more important, and eventually they called me back out to San Diego, which is where we leave off, where I actually started coming back into teaching in San Diego with Beacon. Check it out. And this, in a lot of ways, is where it began for me in San Diego. We're a national city at the site of what was once known as Beacon Classical Academy. And yes, it was here. After coming back from Richmond, I couldn't get a job. It was tough. I thought with the experience, I'd now be able to just, hey, I'm a teacher, and get something, but it wasn't that easy. I was driving Uber in the meantime, and this came up. It was a 7th, 8th grade combo class. I'd be teaching both. Small setting, 20 or so kids, and it seemed fun. It seemed amazing. Small setting, I'd be able to work on curriculum and work with stuff that I haven't done before. It's a good experience. There was a lot of negative to it too. Unfortunately, the school district, National City, which we're in, didn't like that our charter was running out of this church, and they did everything in their power to close us down, and they did. We had to teach out of an auditorium for 2 months while they told us we couldn't teach out of our school. A lot of kids left. A lot of kids stuck it out and went through everything that we went through, and still talk to a few of those kids. Hopefully a few of them actually graduated high school this year, which is amazing to think of. Crazy. It makes me feel even older. But teaching in a charter is something else. Maybe it's something I'll have to come back to. We'll see. But when I was done here, then moved on to substitute teaching. Yeah, I bit that bullet again. Check out where. After Beacon, I wound up all over the place. I was substitute teaching, even got a job at Target while I was substitute teaching. Eventually, though, I found a long-term substitute teaching job. I could go into those for days, and I won't. However, here at Lemon Grove was a specific time that was really upsetting for me. I was pretty much the teacher all year. Teacher had broken her neck during the summer. There was no way she was coming back. But I was a substitute teacher. I was going to all the meetings, though. I was a part of the school year. Every event, Mr. Smith was there. Even got me to dress up as a woman, probably. I let them pick what I was going to be and vote on it, and you guessed it, Princess won. So Mr. Smith was a princess for one Halloween. But I realized, hey, all I'm doing is substitute work for these kids. I'm not really teaching them as much as I could. I'm over here trying to juggle this and Target. Eventually I worked up enough courage to come here and ask, please give me a contract for the rest of this year or something. Tell me that I have something to look forward to, anything. The kids' education depends on it. They're just getting packets and work for me to hand to them every day. Whereas if I was a teacher, it'd be a lot more enrichment. They didn't like hearing that. And they got extremely hostile with it. In fact, they told me they no longer wanted me immediately. And I had to show up the next morning, take out everything out of that classroom. I managed to take out a few drawings and pictures that students made that I could keep. But I was gone and replaced immediately with someone else. They didn't care. They didn't care. No real way of knowing if those kids are doing well, but I hope they are. I hope they are. Very, very sweet kids. Sweet families. Such a sweet family. Lemon Grove definitely has a stain on it, in my eyes. And education really has a stain on it now, too, for me. I'm hoping that eventually I find my spot, but definitely won't be in Lemon Grove. After that craziness in Lemon Grove, I had to go back to substitute teaching, which was great. Got to meet new students. I got to really focus on the District 2, specifically San Diego Unified. It led me to a long-term position job here at Hamilton Elementary. Hamilton Elementary, for those of you who didn't catch it the first time. Yes, and it was great. So much so that I came back for a full-time teaching position. It was amazing. My first one. And, you know, I thought since they brought me back from long-term position that I mean, I had somewhere, right? They already bought me back. But at the end of the school year, went well. Started a club, YouTube club. Hey, you guys should know that, right? YouTube club. They said they didn't have a position for me. Once again, I didn't know why. Come to find out, it's because a higher grade teacher wanted to come down and be second grade. And because she took that position, that's why they didn't have a spot for me. So I moved on. But hopefully those students who I did teach, holy moly, they'd be 5th graders now, if I'm doing my math correct. Hopefully they're doing well. Anyone who was in that YouTube club, hope you are doing amazing. Shout outs to you. I wish I could have stayed and been a part of your education longer. But had to move on, and that's what actually brought me, well, you'll just have to see. I'm here at Johnson Elementary. Yes, just a year ago, Mr. Smith was here. It was before the pandemic. It's where everything went crazy. We even made a cup fence over there that's still up. I'm glad to see that. Good times here. But just like with everything, there's a spin on it that I didn't know about. When I first got here, they didn't tell me whose class I was replacing. They didn't tell me any of the details. Unfortunately, a teacher who was there before me committed suicide in the middle of the school year. I even had to teach in his classroom the next year. Even had some of the students who were in his classroom. It's very, very difficult, very tough, traumatic in a lot of ways for those kids and for me. And then in March, COVID happened. So, once again, Mr. Smith was told, hey, we love you, love the work you're putting in, we'd love to have you back, and didn't happen. Didn't happen. But keep that held high, and eventually wound up at Porter. Check out where that is. And finally, we're at Porter Elementary. I swear that says Porter. Some of the letters are missing. Whatever. Once again, it's been an amazing year here. Didn't really get a chance to really explore the campus that much. I'd love to come back. I've been told that I'm wanted, but that doesn't mean a whole lot in this school district. And to be honest with you, teaching in general, being liked, being wanted isn't necessarily what gets you there. I'm finding. However, I'm staying optimistic. If I come back, I'll be more than happy to do so. And I look forward to working with whatever students I have. 5th grade, 4th grade, wherever. We'll see. We'll see. Until then, I gotta enjoy my summer. I hope you do as well. And let's recharge and hopefully hope for a school year where we're back in the classroom. See you then. Yee! Before we go, and I do have that picture I do want to show you, I just want to let you guys know that although it seemed like Mr. Smith was negative, I was just getting some stuff off my chest. And you guys need to know it's not easy being a teacher. It really isn't. If you're thinking of being a teacher, be prepared. It is a business. And sometimes the business end of it can be tough. You just got to realize that you want to do what's best for you and your students that you eventually teach. And I hope I get to the point where I can be somewhere a long time and build that foundation, build that that kind of desire to want to have Mr. Smith as a teacher. I hope to build that. That hasn't changed. As difficult and as troubling as teaching has been in these last almost 7 years, I haven't changed what I wanted to do. I still want to be a teacher, and I will continue to do so. I look forward to wherever I am next year, and I hope to continue to grow. Alrighty, the whole reason why you're still here. Check it out. Alrighty, so it was from a different angle, but what? So there's the holes in the wall, and then there's Mr. Smith with his mom. Oh my goodness, so cute indeed. Thank you much It's been a pleasure. I hope this summer I get to continue this, stay in touch with you guys. Have a great one. Until next time. Yee! Mr. Smith out.